to another episode of Power Talks. Now, factories today are no longer just mechanical spaces, they are turning into intelligent systems, software led, data driven, and increasingly autonomous. And at the center of this shift are global capability centers that are no longer just executing instructions but engineering the core of how industries will run in the future. And today, we are diving into that shift with someone who has been building it at scale, GNV Subba Rao from ABB Global Industries Services. Let's get started. All right, thank you, sir, so much for joining us for this conversation. And let's start with how GCCs have moved in India for the past few years. When we talk especially about ABB, it is at the heart of the industrial automation for decades. So when we talk about your India teams, how have your Indian teams moved from sort of pure execution to actually owning critical industrial platforms?
So you have brought up a very important and critical point. We did start off, but that was 20 years back, as a unit that would follow instructions and implement them in the local units. And at that point in time, it was very necessary. But then over the last 20 to even 25 years, I would say, there's a lot of experience that has been gained and stored in these units. And it's sort of inevitable that we make use of it and become a little more, I would say, innovative and focus more on value that we can create ourselves. And this value is also something to do with the customer needs, in the sense that we are conscious of the fact that the customer needs could vary from region to region, from country to country. So it might be required that you have the foundation knowledge as a base, but then you modify it a bit, you customize it a bit to suit the local conditions. And that is one part which we are doing very effectively. But of late, we have also evolved in such a state that we have been able to take leads in many of these initiatives, be it engineering, development sometimes, but also commissioning. There are teams that are actually uh, taking the lead, almost doing it end to end, not just in India, but also globally. So that I would trace as the evolution path.
All right, so when let's now talk about where the real engineering is happening today. So when new automation or electrification comes out globally, how much of testing or validation is now, or designing for that matter, is now happening out of India?
Yeah, when you talk about new, uh, in our field, nothing is entirely new. There are a lot of things which have been proven over the years, and so they remain as base, and they are fundamental always. But then, as I mentioned earlier, with times, there are a lot of changes on the customer expectations. And this is where the part of the team, the ingenuity of the team in modifying it, bringing out new solutions come in. And here, India plays a very important role. We have a big chunk of global engineering here. We also have a very large R&D group here. We work together because this is a very nice combination. And of late, for the last 6 years, we also have a very vibrant digital group. Now, bringing all the digital solutions on top of the traditional solutions is another plus point that we have here. And because this is all done together in one location, we have a very big value add advantage. So this is all happening here.
All right, thank you for sharing those insights with us, sir. Now, let's talk about those hard problems. We know that electrification at scale is very complex, right? So, talk to us about how are your India teams are solving the real world issues for the global manufacturers, be it grid stability, power reliability, or energy efficacy for that matter.
See, what you spoke about is, yes, a lot of electrification, a lot of electrical equipment, but on top of it, and even adjacent to that, is plenty of automation. So this is the beauty of what we can offer from ABB. We offer electrification and automation solutions, and many a times these are clubbed together to make a lot of sense to the customer. For example, we have a solution called power management system that would keep a continuous monitor on how a plant works, what are the variations in its demand, and how a generation works, how a generating plant is generating, and adjusts these generations to match with the load. And in case it doesn't match, it takes action to see to that there is no shutdown. Now, this is very important for process plants. There are certain critical heart of the plant equipments and processes that need to be functioning all the while. Even if the auxiliaries are shut down, it's okay. This needs to continuously work, and that's what we preserve. And through this, we protect the customer's installations a lot and the processes a lot. So that's one part of it. But you also spoke about things like new energy and sustainability and all that. We have plenty of equipments that go into the new energy sector, but we should also remember that it is evolving. There are newer needs that is coming out still, and we are aware of this, and we pay a lot of attention to the customer needs and do a lot of work here to look at the equipments needed but also the solutions. So it's a very nice combination of newer equipments along with the old ones, but also newer solutions. And as I said earlier, digital and AI is making a big difference, and that also we have managed to bring in.
All right. So when it comes to autonomous industrial systems, where do you still see the biggest bottlenecks, and also how much of that problem solving is now owned by Indian GCC?
Yeah, we discussed this also. I was in a panel discussion where we brought up this point about Indian GCCs. We have to understand that the so-called Indian GCCs are today becoming very solid partners with their headquarters or with their global units. So we can now consider ourselves to be a part of a larger team which is working for ABB. And so whatever solutions are available globally are available to us. Whatever solutions we develop is also available to the other global units, and that's how we have managed to keep ourselves very relevant in this industry.
All right, when we talk about ABB, it sits at the intersection of digital, as we were talking about, and also sustainable industry. Right. So, what are Indian GCCs from your vantage point, are genuinely doing to make their factories, greener?
You mean our own factories?
Yeah.
There's plenty of action. You know that we own and run a lot of manufacturing plants here, assembly plants as well, and all of them are up to the latest standards. And we take care to see that any new development that happens in the technology field, or anything that we develop, we implement. A lot of them we implement first in our plants. So you would find a lot of green initiatives in our plants. They could be connected with energy. They could also be not connected so much with energy. But then we are very conscious of the fact that we should have a very sustainable setup. And for us, what we preach to the world as providers of sustainable solutions starts from our own factory. So we have a lot of automation and sustainable solutions implemented in our factories and already working. So if one visits our plants, it's more visible. It's a combination of sustainable practices, automation, digitalization, etc. that is helping us on the green side. It also helps us a lot on the safety and well-being side.
Yes, so sir, 5 years from now, when we walk into a highly automated and low carbon factory, how much of that intelligence you think would have come from India?
That's a I would say that's a good question and a tough question too. Um, I don't have a magic wand that will answer me, nor do I have my meta glasses which could give me an answer. But I am very confident that a big part of these new initiatives that go for automation, digitalization, and AI would have a big imprint of India on it. How much? It's only a debatable thing. We'll try to maximize it, but it's going to be big. That I'm pretty confident about.
All right. So, sometime from now, and also even now, when we talk about GCCs, we know now that factories are no longer just physical assets; they are the center of intelligence, and India, perhaps for that matter, is also at the center of that intelligence. Well, thank you, sir, for sharing your insights with us, and also to our viewers. Thank you so much for this
Thank you. It's been
insightful
a pleasure talking
conversation.
to you. Thanks.
And to our viewers, stay tuned for many, many more such insightful conversations only at ETGC.